Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel. I'm trying to get back into my early routine, so I'm doing this early this morning, trying to not wake up the dog and my husband. So I'm using my microphone today and my earplugs. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. It is Tuesday, the 12th of October, I believe, and yesterday was Thanksgiving Day, so happy Thanksgiving Day and +1. I know it seems ridiculously early, but today I'd like to talk about Christmas. I'm not getting ready to buy gifts for Rob and the dog yet or anything like that. But what I do want to talk about is how do we share Christmas around the world as Anglican Christians or as Christians, as people. In this particular case, I want to talk about my own parish, the wee parish of Wainwright in Edgerton, St. Thomas and St. Mary's, which has had, I think for a while, the practice of collecting Christmas shoeboxes for Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child. And there are lots of people who participate that around the world, and wonderful things come of that. There are some people who have some concerns about the way it works, and I admit I'm right there with them. I have some questions about the efficacy of what they're doing and if it's being done in truly the spirit that it should be done in the name of Christ. However, for lots and lots of people, this is a Christmas tradition that, or maybe more of an Advent tradition, that they really love to participate in and get their families involved in. I know that there's some folks who will grab up their grandchildren and go shopping to fill the boxes. And I know in a previous parish there were a couple of ladies who would go out and they would do lunch and then go to the dollar store and fill the boxes. And that can't be underestimated, the power of that in itself. So our churches are going to do that if they wish. Those people who would like to participate in the boxes, that they're going to do that. But I'm also going to have a both and this year for the Primates World Relief and Development Fund, PWRDF, which is an Anglican way of sponsoring things. If you're Anglican, you might have seen this in your Anglican journal. Some people will be aware of it already. This is the Primates World Relief and Development Fund. I believe was started when there was, back in the 50s, I think, there was a catastrophe, a tragedy at the mine in, I think it's Spring Hill something in Nova Scotia. I should know that because I lived near there. And many men were trapped underground, and it was a horrible tragedy. And people wanted to help. I'm going to cry. People wanted to help the families. They wanted to help. And so they went to the church and said, how can we help? And the primate of the day sort of took that in. And what ended up happening was a great fund was created that was then recalled, then eventually became the PWRDF, the Primates World Relief and Development Fund. And since then, millions of dollars have been raised to go around the world to help in disaster areas. Like quite often, for instance, if we hear about an accident or an earthquake or a tsunami or something, someplace else where Red Cross is going to be going, the Anglican Church will receive donations to help peoples in those areas, and just like the Red Cross does. And you can send them to PWRDF through Toronto, and that money goes to help those people in whatever ways they need. But PWRDF has also, through the years, developed some projects that are really cool. They dig wells and get fresh water for people. They've helped with education, and they help people to be able to live independently and interdependently. And so every year, for as long as I can remember, they have offered this opportunity for Advent and Christmas for people to make donations, to purchase things that aren't temporal, that aren't just going to be used once and given away or used up, but to purchase things that will help a community. For instance, this year they have something called Work Towards a Truly Just, Healthy, and Peaceful World. Plant It for the planet. And it's supporting St. Jude Family Projects in Uganda, who are making great strides in improving the environment through tree planting. And it says here that in the past year, St. Jude's farmers planted 35,000 moringa seedlings, of which 12,850 were given through World of Gifts, through this. So you could give a gift of $50 will help to plant 50 tree seedlings in Uganda's farms. The Comprehensive Development Program of the Episcopal Church of Cuba is supporting families from 22 communities who are removing garbage, recovering recycled materials, and transforming community green spaces. And your gift of $25 will supply a community with the tools they need to improve community green spaces. There's all kinds of stuff in there. There's things about the Canadian Food Grains Bank. There's seeding for the future. So, for instance, a gift of $50 could provide Bangladeshi farmers with seeds to restore crops and to replenish their seed banks. Cows coming home. Last year, World of Gifts supporters gave $4,100 to ECLOF's model dairy farms, helping hundreds of dairy farmers improve their operations. A well-cared-for cow produces more milk and increases family income. And your gift of $100 supports dairy farmers in Kenya as they learn about smart dairy farming. One of the things my mom has been doing for a long time is for Christmas, she gives us a goat. And last year, 752 goats were purchased. And they go to, Cuba. And the Tesoro Trust in Zimbabwe, and Partners in Health in Malawi. And for $50, we'll fund one of these 3 great goat programs. And there's all kinds of things. There's thread for seamstresses, and there's planting. You can build a well for $2,600. You could build a well with a solar-powered pump. Great idea for a congregation or a deanery to get involved in. A bushel and a peck in Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya. Poultry farming is very popular, and your gift of $100 supports poultry feed production in one of the largest refugee camps in the world. Also, you can buy a whole farm for $530. You can support farmers in Bangladesh, Cuba, Colombia, Kenya, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. There's tons of stuff in here, and I really recommend that you go to the Anglican Church of Canada's website. Something that I'm really excited about this year is it's called Moving Forward, Introducing Indigenous Responsive Programs. And it talks about supporting Indigenous responsive programs here in Canada for $50, $100, $200, for $10, whatever you'd like to give. And if you get a copy of this in your Anglican Journal, at the back, there's a place here where you can indicate where you'd like your donation to go to, what you'd like it to contribute to. So this year, at St. Thomas and St. Mary's, we are going to have the shoe boxes, which we tried to build as much of a wall as we can. But we're also going to come up with a way to have the shoe boxes that represent PWRDF and see how many donations we can make to support the work that's going on around the world in Christ's name in ways that bring continued food and opportunities for communities, opportunities for environmental health, which then, of course, also help the families, because if their land and their water are stable, then they have a better chance of being stable. So as we've just come through Thanksgiving, as we're thinking about what we can do for Christmas, why don't you think about something like the PWRDF, the Primates World Relief and Development Fund, through the Anglican Church of Canada, or whatever your church does or your community. If we were all to kick in and do these small things, $50, I'd spend that on stocking stuffers for family members. $50 can help bring nutrition and help a whole family for a year. If we buy a goat or contribute that toward a milk cow, just doing something small can do something so big for someone who just is asking that we would treat them as Jesus would treat them, that we would treat them as we would treat ourselves. So As you're thinking about, now that Thanksgiving is over and you start thinking about Christmas since it's already in the stores, maybe you could think about how you can help someone else somewhere around the world to do for the least of these as God has already done for you. If you'd like some more information, you can message me or email me or mention something on the YouTube comments page, and I will get some information out to you about how you find out more about PWRDF. But together, whatever we do, whatever charity we decide to use, let's make this year, this COVID year, a year in which we really intentionally take care of God's children, the ones that we can't see, knowing that God is watching over them and they will give thanks, probably a lot more greater than we did yesterday for the gifts that we have. Have a wonderful day. God bless you, and thank you for the work that you're doing to benefit God's children in all the world. I'll see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.